Now that we've already watched that experiment, let's go ahead and look at some of the results. So we saw that with our magnet and our washer, the magnetic force did act. With the wood, I predicted no, and it did turn out that there was no magnetic force. With the penny, I said that it will have a magnetic force, but it didn't happen. I want you to think, why did that happen? The penny was made of metal, but there was no magnetic force. Why is that? I'm going to keep moving on. With our paper clip, yes, we noticed that there was a magnetic force. With our first fastener, the plastic one, it was not made out of metal, so I predicted that it was not going to move, and I was correct. There was no magnetic force. Same thing with our second fastener. I predicted there was going to be a magnetic force, and there was. Keep going. Foil. We know that foil was made out of metal, so I predicted that yes, it will act on the object. Now, it really didn't. Our twist tie, kind of like what we get at the grocery store to tie up our produce and our vegetables. So we see that the object too is partly made out of metal. Now, partly it meant that there is a little piece of wire in it just so that we could twist it up. So I said because there will be a magnetic force, and I saw that there was a magnetic force. Our first spoon, it was made out of metal, so I said that yes, it's going to have a magnetic force, and it did. Our second spoon, there was no magnetic force because we saw that it was plastic. So my prediction was right. The balloon, we knew it wasn't made out of metal, so I decided that it was not going to have a magnetic force, and I was correct. There was no magnetic force. And then our steel wool, it was made out of metal, and I predicted that, so it was made out of metal. It was going to have a magnetic force, and then it did. So we noticed that with our penny, it was made out of metal, and our foil, it was made out of metal, but yet they both did not have a magnetic force. I want you to think about that. Why do you think that the magnet moved some objects made out of metal and not all the objects? What else did you find that was surprising? I found out that not everything has a magnetic force acting on it. Why do you think one magnet moved one spoon and not the other? What do you think is different about the two spoons? You're going to answer this question on the next slide.